Football is back! Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk. Back again with you guys for another show for the first prediction, preview, match day, pre-show, legendary stuff that is the Raw Reaction show on the TGT channel ahead of Arsenal's away game against Fulham on Saturday, midday-ish, 12:30 kickoff. And I am just so relieved that we have football back in our lives once again. It's the only thing that's really sort of been keeping me going over this sort of mid-break. It's not only just bad that we had lockdown in which there was no games for a significant period of time. Football came back, no fans, which sucked, obviously, for obvious reasons. And then it finished, and we've been left in the doldrums of the transfer market, just constantly refreshing. There's no skin left on this thumb from the amount of scrolling and constant refreshing on my phone. And yeah, it's stop banging the desk, bab. Stop banging the desk. It's the new football season, mate. I'm going to stop banging that desk. I'm absolutely buzzing that we got football back in my life, and you can tell that it's improved my mood. 3-fold, 4-fold, 6-fold, 15 million-fold. I'm absolutely buzzing that I'm going to be able to experience the Arsenal again. And on today's show, we're going to cover we're going to cover slightly differently. This season, it's kind of signals a new age for TGT. There's a lot of stuff that's going to happen this season that we weren't able to do previously. A lot of that's down to things that are going on in my life, which again I keep teasing. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna be able to announce it soon. I'm very, 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 very happy about it, and I can't wait to talk to you guys more about it. But I can't yet because usual stuff. But yeah, the stuff with TGT is gonna increase. TGT is going to be bigger. It's going to be better. It's going to be more frequent. There's going to be more shows. It's going to be daily. It's going to be mental. It's going to be crazy. And I'm going to be looking to people like Owen and Drew and Mike and Andy and judges and everyone that's going to get involved over the course of the season. And I'm hoping that you guys who are watching this are going to be at the forefront of every single one of these shows. I'm going to make as many of them as feasibly live as possible. Tactical Breakdowns is one of the reasons this channel blew up last summer. We gained like nearly 10K subscribers last summer, and it was crazy. It's obviously you guys have been following us this summer as well, and it's been crazy in the same sort of sense, but it's meant that I've wanted to do more stuff live, so it's always in the chat. And Bulgarian Gooner says, just don't make it AFTV 2.0. Don't you worry, son. Not going anywhere near that. It stays the professional TGT that you have always known it, with me being a little bit happy with myself and my life, and just ultimately a little bit more playful is probably the right word to use. So we're going to jump straight into the Raw Reaction preview show. And the way we do this usually is we look at the team that could be being played. Now, we're going to try and change that ever so slightly this season. And this show might evolve and adapt and change as we go through each game. But the kind of change that we're kicking off at the start of this season is with how we're doing the lineups in the show. Now, what I'm going to do is the lineup which I think Arteta is going to go for. We're going to discuss it. We're going to talk to you guys in the chat box about it. And then we're going to do the lineup what I would like us to use. Now, it might be that those two are exactly the same, in which case we'll just do the one. But this one is nowhere near the same. So let's throw this up on the screen now. You should be able to see Arteta's 11. This is what I'm thinking he's going to go for. Now, you are now well within your right to turn around and tell me, Tom, you are talking out your backside with this lineup. And I wouldn't blame you because I think there's some interesting choices, but I'll talk through the reason of all of these. The first one, and the most important thing, is to talk about Leno. The thing with Leno is that he has not played a competitive game for Arsenal in a long time, but it seems that Martinez is not going to be in the field whatsoever. He's going to be off to Aston Villa. That's the latest information that's coming out of some very reliable sources across the waves, and that means that Leno's going to be starting. Is that bad? No, of course it's not bad. Leno has been one of our really strong goalkeepers through last season, and I've absolute faith in the German to be another good goalkeeper, have another good season for the Arsenal as well this year. Now, you notice that I've gone for a back five or back three, or however you want to call it. I think that we're going to go for this back three again because there just hasn't been enough time to switch to the back four. Do I think we'll switch to a back four just because David Luiz is injured? I'm not so sure. mainly due to the fact that we've not made any midfield reinforcements besides Ceballos, who was, of course, with us last season. And that's why I think we're going to maintain this back three until we sign Partey, Aouar, whoever you want to call it. And until that point, I think that's how we're going to play. I might be 100% wrong, in which case, fair enough. But I just feel with this lineup, that's the way that Arteta is going to field it. Backline then, Holding, Gabriel, Tierney. We're going to see the new boy Gabriel, in my opinion. I think he's shown in training what he's about. I've not started Saliba in terms of what I thought Arteta might do. I think he's got a lot of faith in Holding. You've seen the recent information about his loan move to Newcastle not materialising because of the numbers and David Luiz's injury, and having faith in someone that already has transitioned to the Arsenal first team exceptionally well. Bellerin at right wing back, I think we know it's going to happen. I can't see it being Mainsley personally, even though that's different to what I'm going to predict for you guys in a second of what I would want. And that would mean Mainsley playing on the left wing back side, as opposed to either Tierney playing there, Kolasinac playing there, or Saka playing there. And I think Arteta loves Ainsley Maitland-Niles by this point and just playing him there. Now, it might be that he decides to mix it in with a midfield three, in which case there's all the scope in the world for that to happen. But we saw how good he was in that left wing back role in the semi-end final of the FA Cup. So there you go. Carl Halberg says Arteta about to break the 4-2-3-1 on opening day. I mean, that would be impressive. It's what I want to see. Rydog says I don't see 3-4-3 against non-elite teams, and that's a completely fair assumption to make. I'm just looking at it in regards to David Luiz's injury, and then looking at the midfield. Do we have enough to play a three-man midfield? I'm just not sure right now. And then in the midfield, we've got Xhaka and Ceballos. Xhaka, again, this season, big player for Arsenal. Really, genuinely is going to be a big player. And I'm looking forward to seeing him hopefully get some reinforcements in that midfield so he looks even better. And then that leads into a front three of Willian, Nketiah and Aubameyang. Just for some reason, I have the feeling that Nketiah is going to play over Lacazette. I don't know why. I just have that inkling that he's going to start Nketiah over Lacazette. I'd rather Lacazette, but I just feel that Arteta is going to go for Nketiah. Willian has been playing in pre-season regularly. He's also been playing in behind as sort of a number 10, but he can play out wide. And it's just part of me that thinks that Pepe isn't going to start this game. This is purely instinct at this point in time. It's purely instinct that I'm going off. And it's very, very different, this team, to what the 11 is that I would want to see Arsenal go for. Let's see some of your reaction to those picks. Omar says, Tom, do you think that Gabriel is ready? Of course, I think Gabriel is ready. I think he is the man to take our centre-back position forward. I have 100% faith in the guy. I think he's had enough time to train. He's had enough time off. You think about League finishing early, and that meant there was a lot of training that was going on behind the scenes. He was able to recover. He was able to get his fitness up, and he's ready to go and play for the Arsenal for me. And I'm 100% behind that decision being made. Jamie said, hey guys, notifications are broken. I didn't get one. What? That's a joke. I mean, YouTube need to fix their algorithms and get you guys into the chat box as soon as feasibly possible. What's a good thing to do if you aren't getting your notifications about this? You want to follow us over at the Gooner Talk TV, and you want to turn your Twitter notifications on, because I'm always giving you about 10-15 minutes notice at the least of when our shows are going to go live. I can give you a bit more notice because a little bit later on this evening, I might even have 3 shows for you today. One depends on some news that may or may not happen. I'm saying no more. And then the other one is going to be on a Thomas Partey tactical breakdown. So that's exciting. I like talking about Partey as much as you do. We've got more graphics. We've got more expert insight. We've got all the stats in the world. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Make sure you follow us over at the Gooner Talk TV. And you'll make sure you're in tune and you know exactly what's going to be coming up on the channel. Let's throw then into what I want to see us go for on Saturday. This is how I want us to play. It's brave, it's bold, it's different, but I love it. Leno in goal, we've already kind of talked through that. He has to be the main man. I want my boy Mainsley starting at right back. Bellerin for me, we can move him on. Bellerin, I'd like the guy. I think he's got quality. But if you can get money for him, move him on. And I'm putting faith in my young English right back to do the business in the right wing back slot. Centre back roles, William Saliba, Gabriel partnering each other from the off. I'm brave. I told you I'm brave. This is how it's going. I want these two in and playing and gelling and moulding together and learning each other as much as possible, as quickly as possible. Is it realistic? God in hell, no, it's not. But I just think that these two together is a really good chance for Arsenal to show what they can do against a team like Fulham, where you can afford to take a bit of a risk. Our boy Tierney playing at left back, loving that position for him. He just needs to play in a position where he's got defensive cover, which I think he has with the people behind him, but can still have that freedom to go forwards. And an Arsenal left back has always been able to do that, even in a back four, be it Ashley Cole, be it Winterburn, be it Gibbs, be it Monreal. They've always been able to push forwards, even in a back four. And I just think that Tierney has that capability to also get back if we need him to. The midfield is an interesting one. Xhaka and Ceballos keeping their places from the predicted Arteta lineup, but I want to see this Willian thing going on in the centre of the park. I'm really intrigued by this. Can Willian be a success as a number 10 style player? There's only one way to find out, and that's to put him into that position. And I'm absolutely really on my edge of my seat to see what this Brazilian could do. He was underrated. He was undervalued by so many of Arsenal fans that just weren't excited by this signing. I get that you want to spend big. You want to see big players come in. You want to see exciting signings. But I think Willian's signing for me has gone under the radar in actually how much of an exciting sort of player that he's going to be for us. Chelsea were desperate to keep him. And they can turn around to us and moan at us and say, oh, yeah, Chelsea, Arsenal's a retirement home for our players. Well, I'm sorry, but we've taken your player in David Luiz, and now we smacked an FA Cup in your face with him. So for me, I'll take all your good players all day long, mate. Willian was one of your best players all season, and now we've got him in our team for an absolute Bosman. So brilliant stuff from the Arsenal guys there to get him in. I'm absolutely buzzing with that. Nicola Pepe on the right wing, Lacazette in the middle, and Aubameyang on the left-hand side. Imagine a front four where you've got the goals of Aubameyang, you've got the hold-up play of Lacazette, Pepe's skill and trickery in behind Willian's technical creativity. It's fantastic, it's great, and I can't wait to see that lineup happen. Is it going to happen? No, it's not going to happen at all. But I'm just praying and hoping and feeling like we might see some exciting decisions being made by Arteta this weekend. Let's go through some more of your comments in the chat box. Zed Tom says, your 11 looks pretty good, but expect Holding to play instead of Gabriel. Regardless, if Arteta goes with the back three or back four due to match fitness issues, Saliba started training earlier, so he's good. I agree with you. I think there's a whole scope to see Saliba come into this lineup. Christopher Fung says, Willian is going to open up a lot of space for our forwards. YSL says, calling us a retirement home is a counterproductive when Cech and Luiz both won trophies against their former club. I mean, you said it, mate. What more can you say about that? We won trophies, slapped them about the FA Cup, take it all day long. Ingar says, if we play 4-3-3, my 11 is Martinez. Interesting. Tierney, Gabriel, Saliba, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Xhaka, Ceballos, Willian, Saka at Cam, with left wing Aubameyang, striker Pepe, and I feel like is Willian playing in a midfield three there, and then Saka at left wing. That's really interesting. So no Lacazette then. Interesting lineup. I hear you. I just think that Aubameyang on the left wing, I like it. I like Aubameyang there. I'm loving what he's about. Matt Gray says, with Willian in a number 10 role, does this mean there's even more chance of Ozil featuring? Easy to swap Willian out in the 70th minute. It's a funny one, isn't it? AKA Moy says there, Ozil at Cam, maybe. Who knows? It's he just doesn't go away, does he? He just kind of just lingering around. I'm going to pop in here, an appearance here and there, and hopefully, I mean, if he does come in, he's got my full support. He's got my full support, as with any player that pulls on the red and white of the Arsenal. And you can't really, you can turn around and moan at him all you bloody like. But at the end of the day, he's an Arsenal player still. If he pulls in that shirt, he has my full support, and I hope he does well. Simple as. AD8 says, looking at the very few seconds of Aubameyang's stunning strike versus Villa in the friendly, we saw Alba, Laka, Pepe and Willian all on the pitch at the same time. So don't be surprised with a 4-2-3-1 formation. I'm loving that, mate, and I'm hoping you're right. Cal Helberg says, I'll have Leno, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Saliba, Gabriel, Tierney, Xhaka, Ceballos, Pepe, Ozil, Willian, and Alba in a 4-2-3-1. Cole's gone brave for an Ozil shout. Big, big one. Daryl Kane's backing him up there with an Ozil for the win. Omar says, same as Rodney. What's Rodney saying in the chat? Holding worries me a lot. Yeah, you're not the only one, mate, that's got those doubts in your mind. Omar says, Gabriel won't start, in my opinion. Willing Gustafsson says, Leno, Bellerin, Saliba, Holding, Tierney, Xhaka, Ceballos, Ozil, Pepe, and Eddie is going to be his lineup. Really putting faith in the youngster. I like your faith in the youngster. I'm liking that positivity. Rydog says, Holding is no nonsense. He's at his best when making passes is far from his mind and clearing the ball in his mind too. Fulham is Ozil kind of game, says e-commerce, and I tend to agree with that. The big away games, not necessarily so sure, but actually some games against the likes of Fulham, Ozil can do it. Ozil for the cup games at best, says Matthew Hudson, going for the other angle there. And a lot of people are agreeing with William Gustafsson's lineup, which is great. And I think that there's a real scope this season. Predictions then. Let's get your score predictions into the chat box and find out what you guys are thinking about this. Before we do that, we'll go to that little brief bit of news. Of course, you may have seen last night that Arteta, no longer the head coach of Arsenal because he's the manager. I think this is a great move. He deserves it. You just can't question him. You just can't question Mikel Arteta right now. He has done nothing to make you doubt and not trust the process, because he has done some amazing things with some players that you had written off, players that you just thought, nah, these just aren't the guys to play. Mustafi suddenly became a top-class defender. I'm not saying that he is a top-class defender, but he became and played like one for a lot of the games under Arteta. Granit Xhaka has been a transformative player under Mikel Arteta. Aubameyang's been banging him even harder than he was before, and he's been able to integrate younger players like Eddie Nketiah. He's even seen Mohamed El Neni has come back and played a blinder in a Community Shield game against Liverpool. Does this man know any bounds? I'm going with no, and I'm amazed. Not amazed, but it's amazing news that we've actually got Arteta now as our full-time manager. Just stuff the haters, mate. Move past them. They don't matter. Irrelevant. Boring. Manouche says 3-0 to the Arsenal. Danny, the GFP, says 6-0 against Fulham. Loving that, Danny, mate. Go check out a Burkout Wonderland. They're throwing some major, fantastic content over there. And maybe you know, if Danny's kind, maybe you'll see this pretty face at some point. William Gustafsson says 4-0. Aubameyang hat-trick and Pepe. Christopher Fung says 3-1 to the Arsenal. Dave Atkinson says Arsenal 5-1. Alariza says 3-0 to the Arsenal. Owen Martin says 4-1 Arsenal. Fulham to score first, coming from behind. Lovely stuff. Jamie Stephen Dunn. If you want to put your full name in the chat, feel free. Feel free, mate. Gonna say 2-1, Alba and Pepe with the goals. Salim Omar says 4-0 Arsenal. Arsenal Granny says 3-1 to the Arsenal. Rodney, 2-2. Let me be wrong. Matt Gray says, anyone else hoping that Alba gets announced while Tom is live? Don't think he'll be able to contain himself. I hope he doesn't, because I want to put another show out. It's all about those secondary shows, Matt. That's what it's about, mate. Danny, cheers, Tom. Tom will 100% on BABW this season, like old times. I mean, I've even been chatting to the old pirate in the last couple of days. How things change, eh? How things change. Our good friend Drago, go check out Drago on Twitter. He's a top man. Bulgarian Gooner, 2-0 win. E-commerce, 3-1 to the Arsenal. Owen, our boy, our writer. Make sure you check out his stuff on the website. Link is in the description for that. Go check out his articles. His last one, Emi Martinez, an amazing biographical piece on the Argentine goalkeeper, just in time to see him leave. But it's still a great piece. You should definitely go and check it out. Omar says 3-1 to the Arsenal. Owen says 4-1 to the Arsenal. Arteta, we trust, says Andy, 100%. Rodney, Andy for MVP. Dubia says, Tom, what if we got our signs correct and all it took was Arteta to get the best out of the team? The possibilities are endless. Omar, 3-1 to the Arsenal. Igbo, 3-1 to the Arsenal. Jared Carver, 3-0 to the Arsenal. Kyle Halberg, 2-0 to the Arsenal. Rohit, 2-4. I'm assuming that's in favour of Arsenal. John G says 3-0. I'm hoping that's in favour of the Arsenal. There's lots of stuff going on, and it's positivity across the board, and I'm loving that fact. Stay tuned on the channel. You could experience 2 more TGT shows by the end of today, which kind of sets the precedent for the rest of the season, which I'm going to love. But you've got a tactical breakdown, updated version on Thomas Partey with Mr. John Driscoll from the La Liga Weekly, former Sky Sports commentator on La Liga football. He knows his stuff on the Ghanaian midfielder, so make sure you check that one out. And then later on this evening, there may be some news that we have to talk about. Who knows at this point? Who knows? Who knows? It could be today. It could be tomorrow. It could be Sunday. We just don't know. But there'll be a so. When it just so. I've talked at such a level this show that I've run out of the right words to say. But there will be a show when that news, and you know what that news is, finally gets announced. It's been a pleasure to speak to you, as it always is. Please, can you drop a like on the video immediately? I mean, if not for the show, for the fact I got this classic red and white shirt out, for anything else, drop a like on the video. Love talking to you guys as I always do. Really looking forward to head to this season. The amazing stuff that's going to go down for myself and TGT is on another level. Loving you guys, and I'll see you very soon. And as always, put it into the chat. What's our finishing line? Up the Arsenal.